Smart Baby Monitor really worth the money? Hey everyone, I'm Coral and welcome to my channel. If you're new here, click that subscribe button down below and hit the bell for practical tips for a home you'll love. I specialize in reviews for your home on my channel, and this is the first video of many that I am including for different baby and kid products. I had my first baby a little over a year and a half ago, and at the time that I was pregnant, I did extensive research to try to figure out which one would be the absolute best baby monitor for us and for my son. I ended up landing on the Miku baby monitor and deciding that that is the one that I wanted to use. We have been using this Miku since my son started sleeping in his own room a little over a year ago. So review wise, I feel like I provide a pretty unique perspective on this baby monitor because I have been using it day in and day out for over a year. I know the ins and outs and every little thing about this baby monitor. Today I am sharing the features of this baby monitor, how it works, the pros and cons, and my overall opinion. Though starting out with this video, I do want to say that the Miku that I have is the Miku Original. I got this baby monitor for my son when I was pregnant back in the fall of 2020. So since then, Miku has come out with the Miku Pro. The camera, the way the app works, and how everything works with the Miku is very, very similar, and I'll address all of the differences between the Miku Original and the Miku Pro as we go along with the video. So to start out my reviews, I always like to start out talking about the price. The price is very important when you are determining what products works well for you and your family. Currently, the price of the Miku is $399. That is the price of the Miku Pro, which is the only one that you can buy online right now unless you're buying from somebody else, buying a used Miku Original. And that's also the price that the Miku Original was at the time that I got mine. Now, while that price can seem very, very high compared to other similar smart baby monitors on the market, it's relatively comparable. Currently, the Nanit Pro costs $299. The Owlet Dream Duo, which is the camera and the monitor itself, costs $399, and the Hubble Dream Plus costs $299. So it's right around the same price as all of those other baby monitors. Now, one of the big pros with the Miku as compared to several other of the smart baby monitors on the market right now is that the Miku does not require a subscription. Several other of the baby monitors that you find and can buy there right now that are smart baby monitors require a monthly or yearly subscription in order to access a lot of the different features and actually use the app. So the Miku does not require the subscription. Everything that you get with the Miku and that is included in the app is included with the price of the Miku. For me, that was a really big selling point because I would rather fork out the money on the front end and pay for it and know exactly what I'm paying for than continue to pay for a subscription for years and years to come. So let's talk about what's included and what comes to you in the box with the Miku. First off is the camera. I really love the way that this camera looks. It's nice and sleek. It looks really nice. It looks really good on the wall in my son's nursery. When looking at this camera and unboxing everything for the first time, I really got the same feel of like different Apple products, how those are packaged so nicely and everything looks really nice. I definitely got that feeling from this Miku and unboxing it. The other things that are included in the box are a wall mount and a level. So this is what you mount it on the wall with, and it has this nice little level included on the mount that comes off when you're done. That way you can figure out how to level it on the wall. It also comes with a measuring tape, which you use in order to figure out how high on the wall you need to put it. It also has a screwdriver included in it. That's for you to install the screws to mount it on the wall. It has cable cable guides to cover up the cable because you're installing this on the wall. You need to be able to cover up the cord so that your baby cannot grab it. That's for safety reasons. It has the power cord and the power supply for the camera, and then all of the mounting hardware, which is the screws and the wall anchors in order to keep it nice and secure on the wall. This baby monitor is very easy to install. It comes with step-by-step instructions for exactly how you need to install it on the wall, and it comes with everything you need to put it on there. It was very easy and we had no issue installing this. If you don't want to install it and actually mount it on the wall in your baby's room, you can also purchase a floor stand, or with that you can also move it around to different rooms. I was a little hesitant at first to get something that you install and screw into the wall, but using it over this past year, it's great. It's amazing. I love how it is. Love that you don't have to readjust it. It's exactly perfect where it needs to be, and it doesn't move, so it's ready to go and ready to use every time that you use it. So I highly suggest using the wall mount if you can. One of the key features of the Miku Baby Monitor is their live breathing. For me, this is one of the biggest reasons that I chose to use this baby monitor with my son. Miku uses 5 built-in sensors that they call sensor fusion in the actual monitor to monitor your baby's breathing and other data in the room. When you are looking at the Miku app, you can see a visualization of your child's breathing in live actual time. The breathing shows up in the app as a wave form, so you can see the rise and fall of your baby's breathing. It gives it to you in RPMs, which is respirations per minute, so how many times your baby is breathing in 1 minute. When you're looking at the app and your baby is still and sleeping, you can see this as well as the number on the screen. For me, this live breathing is a huge part of this monitor. It's something that I absolutely love about it. I'm one of those parents that likes to check in on her kid all of the time. So anytime I'm looking at the monitor and I look and I see the live breathing, it's just some peace of mind to know, whew, okay, he is breathing, he is doing okay while he is sleeping in there, especially when it's the very beginning, when they first start sleeping in their crib by themselves and you're used to them being in the room with you. Having that peace of mind to actually visually see their breathing, it just feels so good and it helps release some of the anxiety for me. Now, when you're looking at the app, it just shows you the number and the actual respirations per minute for your child. It doesn't give you a range of what is normal. So it does take a little bit of time to figure out for your child what is normal when they are sleeping. For my son, right when he first falls asleep and he's not quite in a deep sleep yet, he's at about 25 respirations per minute. And then it does drop down a little bit around like 19 or 20 when he's in a really deep sleep. So you just have to kind of learn with it what is normal for your child. Another big pro for this baby monitor and a huge factor for me is that it is contact free. This means that in order to monitor your child's breathing, it doesn't require anything in contact with your child. All of the technology that is used to monitor your child is built in within the Miku Baby Monitor. As far as I know, this is the only baby monitor on the market right now that does this. All of the other baby monitors that I mentioned require some type of wearable for your child to have on in order to monitor them. So for example, the Nanit Pro requires this band that goes across your child's chest, and the camera reads the movement of the band in order to figure out their breathing. The Owlet uses a monitor on their foot in order to monitor breathing and heart rate. The Miku doesn't monitor heart rate because it's not in contact with them, but it is the only one that doesn't require these things to be in contact with your child. Now, this is important, or a great pro, a big factor for a couple of different reasons. And number one, you don't have to worry about actually putting something on your child. You don't have to worry about charging it or washing it, or what happens if they spit up or whatever else on it. So it's not an extra step that you have to have. And the second part of that is that it's going to continue to grow with your child. This was a big one for me as well. So eventually, with all of these different wearables, your child's gonna grow out of them and you're not gonna be able to use them anymore. With the Miku, they're not gonna grow out of it. You can use it at any age. So I absolutely loved that my son can be 6 years old and sleeping in a big kid bed, and I can still use the Miku to monitor him and to monitor his breathing. So that's a huge thing, that it doesn't require anything extra to monitor your child's breathing. The Miku also works with any type of clothing or sleeping position. So you can use a swaddle with the Miku and it will still read your child's breathing. You can use a sleep sack. My son currently, and since he has been sleeping in the crib, sleeps with a sleep sack on, and it still can monitor his breathing. And it also works in any sleeping position. This one is important for us, although I wouldn't have known it when I was pregnant. My son is a tummy sleeper, and ever since he has slept in the crib, he has been a tummy sleeper. And not only that, he sleeps in a position that we called roasted chicken, with his arms kind of tucked underneath him and his butt kind of up in the air. And the Miku can still read his breathing. Only every once in a while it'll have just a little bit of trouble recognizing his breathing when he is in this sleep position. Sometimes it will just show the movement. So when your child is moving, you can see little feet on the app that the monitor is telling you that your child is moving and not breathing. So sometimes in this position, it'll just show the little movement and then go right back to breathing. Overall, it doesn't have any issue monitoring his breathing in that sleep sack or in the crazy different sleeping positions that he sleeps in. Another feature that I love with this baby monitor is that the sound plays in the background. So even if you switch to another app on your phone, the sound from the Miku will still continue playing on your phone until you close it. So this is really great. There are plenty of times that I like to watch the monitor and see what he is doing, but if I need to swipe to a different app, it'll still keep playing. And even if you lock your phone and set it down next to you, you can still hear the sound coming out of your baby monitor. So you still have that sound, so that if you're listening to them, you know when they are awake or when they're crying or when you need to go get them or check on them. So that's something that I love and use all of the time. I also want to talk about some other features with the Miku. So one of those is sounds. There is a built-in sound library in the Miku that can play different sounds like white noise or different lullabies coming right out of the monitor itself. The Miku has built-in speakers on it so that it can provide this sound if you like to use sound or white noise with your child. Another feature that it has is two-way audio. There is a push to talk option in the app that I'll talk about in just a minute, where you can push it and talk to your child and they can hear your voice coming out of the speakers. The Miku also has really tight security on it. They have what they call a crypto chip inside the Miku, and what this does is protect the baby monitor from anybody trying to hack in and get access to the video feed of your monitor. Now for the Miku Original, which is the one that I have, it has up to 1080p quality video. The Miku Pro is 1080p and has a higher quality video because it has a larger camera and larger sensors. The video for the Miku Original looks really nice to me. I never have any problem seeing anything with my son on the app. The quality is great and I like it. So next I want to talk about all of the different in-app features of the Miku. So I'm going to go through and talk about the different features as well as show you some screen recordings from the app so you can see what everything looks like. First, we'll talk about the main screen or the monitor screen. This is the screen that pulls up whenever you pull up the app on your phone. First up on this screen at the top right, you're going to have the temperature and the humidity of the room. I personally really like the temperature monitor, and it's something that I look at often to make sure that the room is the right temperature for my son in the room. Another feature right here that can be a little bit hidden is the live indicator. When you're looking all the way up at the top left, depending on the different video quality setting that you have on your phone, if it's in high quality, the blue around the HQ lets you know that you're actually viewing a live view of the monitor. And if you're in a lower quality video, you'll see a little blue dot next to it. If the HQ or the dot are white, that means you're not actually looking at a live view. So that's a little trick. With any baby monitor, sometimes there can be a little bit of lag whenever you open it up. So I've just noticed this, that sometimes when it says that my son is moving or I can hear him moving and the video doesn't quite look at it, in a few seconds that little blue light will pop up and then I'll actually see the live view of it. Then if you go down underneath the video, you see the option to toggle the sound on and off. This can be useful if you're watching the monitor and you want to mute the sound for a little bit. You can also take a picture, that's next to the camera button. And then the third button there with the microphone is the push to talk in order to talk to your child in the crib. Then if you click on the three dots, if you don't want to view the waveform or the monitor to track the live breathing at that time, you can turn that on and off. You can turn the music and the sound on and off, and then you can go to standby mode, which turns the camera off. So one thing with this baby monitor is you can turn it off right here by turning on standby mode, or you can walk up to the baby monitor and you can press the power button on the actual monitor. Both ways work. It just depends on what you want to do. The next tab is the analytics tab. So here it's going to show you data for your child's sleep. Here you get a night summary, which is a summary of your child's night sleep, a day summary, which is a summary of their naps, and then you can scroll down and also see the daily snapshot, which is the average conditions of the nursery throughout the different monitoring sessions. Now, talking about the night sleep and the day sleep summaries, you can view these by day, or you can also view them by week. To view them by day, you can just swipe right to scroll back to the different days, or in each section you can click on night trends and day trends in order to view a week's summary. You can also click on the calendar button to go back into different weeks. This is a feature that I look at occasionally, but I don't use a lot. Now, one reason that I think that this might be for me is that the day sleep summary starts at 10 a.m. So if you are somebody whose little one is still taking 2 naps a day, you might not get accurate information based on the day and the night sleep summaries. So when my son was taking 2 naps a day, he usually went down around like 9:30-ish. And so that would be counted towards the night sleep and not actually towards the day sleep. So the smaller your little one is, the more likely that these summaries won't be completely accurate. As they get older and are only taking 1 nap a day, they are gonna get a little bit more accurate. And since my son has been moved to 1 nap a day, I've noticed that I have looked at them a little bit more often. The features that I like to look at in especially the night summary are the time that it took him to fall asleep and then the hours that he slept each night. Lastly, in this analytics tab up at the top right, if you click on the graph, this will also take you to the daily snapshot, which shows you the conditions of the room. This is actually one of my favorite sneaky features of this app, and I will talk about that a little bit later in the video. Moving over to the activity tab, this is a recorded timeline of your child's sleep. So you can view it in 2 different ways. You can view it in a rolling timeline and swipe to the right to go to the past, or you can also view it vertically in events. I like it horizontally because then you can see a small little clip of the video before you view it. So this is really nice if you want to look back at something throughout your child's sleep. It records movement, so when your child has been sleeping and then starts moving, sound whenever they start making noise, and if there is any time where there is no movement. Now, one thing with this activity tab that I have noticed is that if you are actively viewing the monitor, if you are have the monitor running on your phone and you are watching your child, it does not seem to record the events. It seems to only be recording when you are not actively viewing, so you're in another app or your phone is locked. For me, when my son is napping, I like to actively view the monitor on my phone. I just leave it open and watch it. So if there's anything going on, it will not be recording that. Same thing in the middle of the night, if you have the app open and you are looking at it, it will not record those things. These are just short clip recordings to go back and look at if there was something that you wanted to see in the middle of the night that you weren't actively viewing. And last is the settings tab in the app. This is where you can control different settings and turn different things on and off. You have several different sections within this tab. The very first one is general settings. This is where you can do things like change the temperature unit, turn live breathing on and off. One feature that I really like and do use here is the LED light setting. So there is a light on the Miku monitor. Out of the box, it's going to default to on. For us, for my son, I like to keep the room as dark as possible. I have room darkening curtains and I try to keep everything with different lights on it off in the room. So I do turn off the LED light. With the Miku Pro, it does have a dim. You can turn it off and then you can also dim it. So if that's something that's important to you and you like to keep the room as dark as possible, this is something that you're definitely going to want to change. Another feature here that I do also use is the audio boost. So audio boost is going to adjust the volume coming out of your phone based on the volume around you. So if you are somewhere where it is a little bit louder, the volume is going to increase coming out of your phone. Like I said, you can turn this on or turn it off. I just noticed using it that I do like it on. That way, if it's a little bit louder in the room, I still feel comfortable that I'm going to hear whatever is coming out of the monitor whenever my child is sleeping. Another section that I like to use in the settings app is the shared users. So one thing that I have noticed with the Miku app is, like I said, it's very secure. So a lot of the other apps and parent apps that we use with our son, my husband and I will use the same login. One email and password in order to get in to view and use the app. That actually does not work with the Miku. And I really like the way that they do this. So one person or one parent is going to be the control or the owner of the app, and then you can give access to other people. For me, I gave access to my husband. I just put in his email. He went and accepted it and made his own Miku account. And same thing for my mom. My mom is over at our house a lot watching our son. And so I sent her the invite and she has access as well. So this is really nice because you can control the access for different people. So if you want to give access to someone and then take it back, it's very easy to do that within the app. And it's also a really great way to just keep the monitor itself secure. So that is something I really, really love about this app. And lastly, in the settings, you have the notifications. So first in the notifications, you have alarms. The alarms in the Miku are set so that whenever it picks up that there is no movement, when there has been movement, it can set off an alarm on your phone. I do leave this on so that if for any reason there is no movement in the crib, the alarm will go off on my phone. It is not just a small notification, it is a very loud alarm that will wake you up. So that helps with the peace of mind with monitoring, to know that it is monitoring. If something were to go wrong, it's going to send an alarm for you. This is also really nice for parents of older children. If your child leaves the bed and gets out of the room and it notices that there's no movement, it's going to set off an alarm for you as well. Now below that are the notifications. So these are all push notifications on your phone. So these are the standard notifications that you get on your phone that, based on your settings, can come up with a pop-up on your screen and a short notification. So I don't keep all of these turned on. I don't like all of them turned on. I do have the no movement turned on so that would also send me a notification. And the other one I keep on is the baby awake, so that it notifies you whenever your child wakes up. I leave off the sound and the baby asleep. For me, the sound, we use a separate white noise machine in his room, so I just didn't want extra notifications. The other one I turned off is baby asleep, because personally, just for me, whenever I put him down in the crib, I walk out of the room, I usually turn the monitor right on and I'm watching it, and I know when he has fallen asleep. So I don't need a notification telling me that he has fallen asleep. If you're not actually watching the monitor, then this might be a nice feature for you. Okay, next let's talk about some important changes from the Miku Original to the Miku Pro. The very first thing that is a big difference between these two monitors is app issues. So the Miku Original has a pretty bad rap for app crashes. It is an issue that the app has, that it will randomly crash and stop working. I will be honest, this has been an issue that I have had. In the middle of the night, sometimes it will stop, or it will just crash randomly. I always thought that it was like a Wi-Fi issue for us, but it is a known issue for the Miku Original. So that has been something that has been fixed. Based on all of the research that I have done preparing for this video, the app crashes have been fixed with the Miku Pro. Next is a faster processor. Built into the camera is a faster processor, just like your computer, so it works better and works faster. So it can monitor the different data in the room better, and you get a better picture when you're viewing it in the app. Along with the picture, another big improvement that the Miku Pro has is the pinch to zoom. So just like you would regularly on your phone, if you want to zoom in on something on your phone, you pinch it to zoom. The Miku Original does not have that. The Pro does. This hasn't really been something that's been a huge issue for me with the Original. If that's what you are considering, I can see everything just fine. It's just something that would be really nice to have with the Pro. The Miku Pro also does work without Wi-Fi. So if for some reason your Wi-Fi goes down, it will continue working. The Miku Original works just with Wi-Fi and cannot work without Wi-Fi. Next, I want to talk about some wishes that I have for the future with the Miku. The Miku app does get updated, and I have seen some different things come across and some different changes. So these are things that I just wish it had, or things that I wish could be different about the monitor. First up, I'd like it to be easier to see the sleep time in the app whenever you are viewing it. So when you are viewing your baby sleeping and you're watching the breathing, it will tell you the sleep time. That's nice and easy to read, no big deal. However, when your baby is moving, you will see a little feet icon on there, and the sleep time goes away. It'll tell you and track the time that your baby is moving, but the sleep time does go away. When my son was little, we had a snoo for him, and something that I loved is that anytime you're viewing the app, you can see the sleep time no matter what. So I'd love to be able to watch and view the sleep time no matter what my son is doing. This is an important feature for me because I like to know how long he has been sleeping. So especially like during naps, if he's in the middle of a sleep cycle and he's moving, I like to know, oh, he's probably just transitioning sleep cycles and he's going to go back to sleep. Or I can look at the time and think, he hasn't quite been sleeping long enough. Let's give him a couple of minutes and see if he goes back to sleep. And when he's moving, I don't really have that option. So I actually use a separate timer to watch how much time it's been since he's been asleep. Just during naps, during the night, that's not really an issue. Along with that, I'd also like to see some more detailed time data in the analytics part. The analytics just shows you a basic overview of the night or the nap for your child. I loved the app in the snoo where you could zoom in and you could watch the timeline as your child was sleeping and see what happened at different times. So if I'm trying to like look back and see like how many times he had woke up in the night or how often he had been awake during a nap, you can't really like zoom in on the timeline in the sleep analytics. So I'd just like to see some more like snoo like data on the actual timeline. It's not an issue for me. I actually have a small little workaround for this. Like I said when we were talking about the app, I love the daily snapshot when we were talking about the analytics. So this is just kind of a workaround to get this data that I'm wanting or trying to get. So if you click and go to the daily summary and you choose breathing, so it's tracking your child's breathing, and you drill down to 30 minutes, you can scrub through the timeline of when they were asleep, and it's going to show you a graph of blue for them breathing or green for them moving, and it will actually give you the actual timestamps on there. So if I'm trying to like look back and see how well he slept or how long he was awake in the middle of the night, I do scroll back through there in order to get some more detailed information. Just personally, that would be nice for me to have in the day and night summary. Along with that, when you're looking at the day and the night summary, that information is not available until several hours after your child wakes up. So the night summary is available after 10 a.m. and then the day sleep summary is available after 5 p.m. So it just takes a while for it to process that data and give you the information. I just personally like to know, especially after naps, not so much after the night sleep. After naps, I like to know like how well he napped and how much he was moving, just so that I can know more information about how well he slept and how fussy he might be during the rest of the day. Or sometimes if he woke up early from his nap, I might need to put him to bed a little bit early. So that's part of the reason why I keep a separate sleep timer on my phone to know how long he slept, because if he is sleeping less than the amount of time that he usually sleeps, and I'm not keeping track of the time, then I need to know that so that I can get him enough sleep and put him to bed a little bit early that night. So it'd just be nice if I could see that more detailed information a little bit quicker within the app. Another thing that I would really like is some more persistent notifications. Like I said, the regular, not the alarms, but the regular notifications for baby asleep, baby awake, sound in the room, are push notifications on your phone. So the thing with this that I would like to be different is that if it was just like more persistent and louder or lasted longer. So because it is just a quick push notification, it is something that you can definitely sleep through. Me, definitely. I'm not the lightest sleeper in the world, but a real quick notification on my phone when I am really asleep in the morning is not going to wake me up. So if I get a quick notification that he's awake, if I wasn't listening to the monitor, I wouldn't actually know that he was awake. Same thing during the day. If you're busy and doing different things, that quick notification just might not be enough for you to be able to hear. So I'd love it if they could make some adjustments so that it is not like the alarm, not loud and blaring like the alarm, but some other different type of notification that lasts a little bit longer so that I can know that he's awake without like actually listening to the monitor. So moving on, I do want to share a quick story with you guys to show you guys that the monitoring in this app really does work. One night a couple of months ago, my son was stirring in the middle of the night, and I leave my phone locked but leave the sound coming out of my phone throughout the night. That way I can just listen to him and know when he's awake or when he's crying. And I heard some noises coming out of the monitor and they sounded a little bit different, and he was just kind of fussing. And so I grabbed my phone and I opened it up and I was checking on him like I regularly do in the middle of the night if I'm hearing something. And I noticed that his breathing, the respirations per minute, were very high, way higher than I had ever seen them. Like I said, they're usually around 25 respirations per minute. When I looked at it, it was about like at 56 respirations per minute. Now, generally when he's sleeping, there's some times where I'll see it go up into like maybe the high 30s, but I had never seen it in the 50s before. So I took a couple of seconds and I was like, something doesn't really seem right. And I watched him for a little bit and he was fussing and stirring. And so I decided to go in and go check on him. And when I grabbed him out of the crib, I noticed that he was burning up. He was so hot to the touch. So I picked him up and took him out of the crib and I was actually taking him out of the room to go turn down the AC in our house and cool the house down a little bit more. And then he actually threw up. So there was really actually something going wrong with him. Thanks to looking at the Miku, I was able to look at that and know that something was off and I needed to go get him, because every time he fusses in there, I don't go get him. A lot of the time I'll wait for him to fall back asleep, and without looking at that, I might not have known that something was wrong and that he was actually really not feeling well. So I definitely feel like the monitoring, and especially the breathing monitoring, really does work on this monitor, and it's nice to know that it can help me catch some things like that. So my overall opinion on the Miku Baby Monitor. While the upfront cost for this camera is quite high, based on all of the high-tech features that this camera has, I really do feel like it is worth the money. The number one feature for me is the live breathing, that you can look in and you can see how your child is breathing in real time and get a visualization of it. That is invaluable to me. I also really love that it is contact free. It doesn't require anything actually on my son and not an extra step that I have to take, and that also helps it grow with him over the years, and it's something that I can use for years and years to come with him. And the fact that they've fixed most of the original issues with the Miku Pro really make it a no-brainer for me. I have given it a lot of thought while preparing for this video, and if I had to make the choice over again, I would still choose the Miku over the other brands, because it gives me the peace of mind to know that my son is safe while he's sleeping. If you want more reviews about other products I use in my home, click right here for my product review playlist. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.